Ever wondered why your JavaScript applications suddenly slow down or crash with out-of-memory errors? Most developers understand code, but few truly master how the engine manages memory behind the scenes. In this video, we will cover JavaScript memory management practice questions and garbage collection explained. Master JavaScript memory management with this comprehensive practice exam video. In this comprehensive guide, we are diving deep into JavaScript memory management through 30 professional-level practice questions. We will cover the memory lifecycle, the stack versus the heap, garbage collection algorithms like mark and sweep, and how to identify common memory leaks. Before we jump into the first question, make sure to grab a notepad. This isn't just a quiz. It's a deep dive into the internals of JS. What are the 3 stages of the JavaScript memory lifecycle in the correct order? Option A, use, allocate, release. Option B, allocate, use, release. Option C, allocate, release, use. Option D, release, allocate, use. The correct answer is B. Regardless of the programming language, the memory lifecycle is almost always the same. 1. Allocation. The operating system allocates memory that the program needs during execution. 2. Use. The program uses the allocated memory, reading and writing. 3. Release. Once the memory is no longer needed, it is released, freed, to become available again. In JavaScript, the first and last steps are usually implicit, automatic. Where are primitive values and function call frames typically stored in JavaScript? Option A, the heap. Option B, the garbage collector. Option C, the stack. Option D, the global object. The correct answer is C. JavaScript uses 2 main structures for storing data: the stack and the heap. The stack is a LIFO, last in, first out, structure used for static memory allocation. This includes primitive values: number, string, boolean, null, undefined, symbol, big int, and the execution context, function call frames. Because the size of these items is known at compile time, the engine can manage them efficiently on the stack. Where does JavaScript store objects and arrays that require dynamic memory allocation? Option A, the stack. Option B, the heap. Option C, the buffer. Option D, the constant pool. The correct answer is B. The heap is used for dynamic memory allocation. Unlike the stack, the heap does not have a fixed size and is used for storing objects, arrays, and functions. Since the size of these elements can change during runtime, JavaScript allocates memory in the heap and stores a pointer reference to that memory location on the stack. What is the primary algorithm used by modern JavaScript engines for garbage collection? Option A, reference counting. Option B, stop and copy. Option C, mark and sweep. Option D, generational search. The correct answer is C. While older engines used reference counting, modern browsers use mark and sweep. This algorithm starts from a set of roots, like the window object in browsers, and marks all objects that are reachable. Any objects not marked are considered unreachable and are swept, deleted from memory. This solves the circular reference problem that plagued reference counting. Which of the following is a common cause of memory leaks in JavaScript applications? Option A, using local variables inside a function. Option B, accidental global variables. Option C, using use strict mode. Option D, setting variables to null. The correct answer is B. Accidental global variables occur when you assign a value to a variable that hasn't been declared. With let, const, or var. In browsers, these are attached to the window object. Because the window object is a root that is never garbage collected as long as the page is open, the data assigned to it stays in memory forever, causing a leak. What is the main limitation of the reference counting garbage collection algorithm? Option A, it is too slow for modern web apps. Option B, it cannot handle circular references. Option C, it requires manual intervention. Option D, it only works for strings. The correct answer is B. In reference counting, an object is eligible for garbage collection only if it has 0 references. However, if object A references object B, and object B references object A, their reference count will never reach 0, even if they are no longer accessible from the main program. This is known as a circular reference, and it leads to memory leaks in engines using only this algorithm. Which scenario is most likely to cause a memory leak involving a DOM element? Option A, removing a child element using remove child. Option B, keeping a reference to a DOM element in a JavaScript object after the element is removed from the document. Option C, applying CSS styles via JavaScript. Option D, using document get element by ID. The correct answer is B. This is known as a detached DOM node leak. If you store a reference to a DOM node in a JavaScript variable, e.g., in an array or object, and then remove that node from the actual DOM tree, the memory for that node cannot be reclaimed because the JavaScript variable still points to it. To fix this, you must set the JavaScript reference to null. Why is it important to clear intervals or timeouts when they are no longer needed? Option A, to prevent the script from stopping. Option B, to free up the memory held by closures within the timer callback. Option C, to speed up the stack. Option D, timeouts do not use memory. The correct answer is B. When you use setInterval or setTimeout, the callback function creates a closure that can capture variables from its parent scope. As long as the timer is active, the engine cannot garbage collect the variables referenced in that closure. If the timer runs indefinitely, or is forgotten, the memory used by those variables is leaked. How does a weak map differ from a standard map regarding memory management? Option A, weak map is faster than map. Option B, weak map keys must be primitives. Option C, weak map does not prevent its keys from being garbage collected. Option D, weak map can be iterated over easily. The correct answer is C. In a regular map, as long as the map exists, its keys and values are held strongly and won't be garbage collected. In a weak map, the keys must be objects, and the reference to those keys is weak. If there are no other strong references to a key object, the garbage collector can remove it, and its corresponding value, from memory, making weak map ideal for metadata or caching without causing leaks. When does JavaScript perform memory allocation for a variable? Option A, only when the new keyword is used. Option B. Automatically when values are initialized. Option C. When the programmer calls the alloc function. Option D. During the sweep phase. The correct answer is B. JavaScript is a high-level language that manages memory automatically. When you declare a variable and assign it a value, e.g., const s equals hello, the JavaScript engine automatically handles the allocation of memory needed to store that value. In the mark and sweep algorithm, what are the roots? Option A. The last line of the script. Option B. The garbage collection log files. Option C. Global variables and currently executing function local variables. Option D. All objects stored in the heap. The correct answer is C. Roots are the starting point for the garbage collector. In a browser environment, the main root is the window object. Other roots include global variables and variables currently on the call stack. Local variables in functions currently being executed. The algorithm marks everything reachable from these roots. What happens when the garbage collector runs frequently in a short period? Option A. The application runs faster. Option B. It can cause jank or stuttering in the UI. Option C. The stack size increases. Option D. JavaScript switches to manual memory management. The correct answer is B. Garbage collection is a stop-the-world process. Though modern engines optimize this, if the engine has to constantly clean up memory because of high allocation rates, the main thread is paused repeatedly. This results in jank, visible stuttering in animations or delayed user interactions. Which of the following stores its data on the heap? Option A. Let x equals 10. Option B. Const b equals true. Option C. Const obj equals name. Dev. Option D. Let y equals undefined. The correct answer is C. Objects, arrays, and functions are complex data types that are stored in the heap. Variables x, b, and y in the other options are primitive types. Number, Boolean, and undefined, which are stored on the stack. How can closures lead to memory leaks? Option A. Closures always delete their parent scope. Option B. Closures can keep references to large variables in the outer scope even if they are not used. Option C. Closures cannot be garbage collected in JavaScript. Option D. Closures prevent the engine from using the stack. The correct answer is B. A closure is a function that remembers its lexical environment. If an inner function is exported or stored, e.g., as an event listener, it keeps a reference to its entire outer scope. If that outer scope contains large data, that data stays in memory as long as the closure exists, even if the closure doesn't actually use those large variables. Which Chrome DevTools tab is best suited for diagnosing memory leaks? Option A. Network. Option B. Elements. Option C. Memory. Option D. Sources. The correct answer is C. The Memory tab in Chrome DevTools allows you to take heap snapshots, record allocation timelines, and track allocation sampling. This is the primary tool for identifying which objects are consuming memory and finding detached DOM nodes. What is the purpose of setting an object to null when it is no longer needed? Option A. It forces the garbage collector to run immediately. Option B. It breaks the reference to the object, making it eligible for garbage collection. Option C. It removes the variable from the stack. Option D. It's a requirement in use strict mode. The correct answer is B. Setting a variable to null removes the reference to the object in the heap. If that was the last reference to the object, the mark and sweep algorithm will find it unreachable and reclaim the memory during the next GC cycle. It does not force GC to run instantly. What is generational collection in the context of the V8 engine? Option A. Collecting memory only from old objects. Option B. Splitting the heap into young and old generations to optimize GC. Option C. A way to manually delete variables. Option D. The process of upgrading JavaScript versions. The correct answer is B. V8 uses generational collection because of the infant mortality hypothesis. Most objects die young. The heap is divided into the new space, young, and old space. Frequent, fast GC happens in new space. Objects that survive multiple cycles are moved to old space, which is collected less frequently, improving overall performance. Why can't you iterate over a weak set or weak map? Option A. Because they are not indexed. Option B. Because the contents depend on the state of the garbage collector, which is non-deterministic. Option C. Because they only store numbers. Option D. Iteration is possible using for each. The correct answer is B. Since references in a weak map, WeakSet are weak, an entry could be garbage collected at any time. If there are no other references, if iteration were allowed, the list of elements would change based on when GC runs, making the code's behavior unpredictable and non-deterministic. What is the risk of adding event listeners to the window or body without removing them? Option A. The browser will crash immediately. Option B. The listeners keep any variables in their scope alive, causing a memory leak. Option C. The event will only fire once. Option D. JavaScript will stop executing other functions. The correct answer is B. Event listeners, especially those on global objects like window, stay in memory for the life of the page. If a listener is attached to a component that is destroyed but the listener is not removed, via remove event listener, the listener and its closure remains, causing a leak. Is it possible to manually trigger garbage collection in a standard web browser environment? Option A. Yes, using the window GC function. Option B. Yes, by calling collect garbage. Option C. No, it is handled entirely by the JavaScript engine. Option D. Yes, by refreshing the page. The correct answer is C. In standard, secure browser environments, developers cannot trigger garbage collection programmatically. The engine decides when to run it based on heuristics. While window GC exists in some browsers when started with specific flags for testing, it is not available in production. When a function finishes execution, what happens to its local variables stored on the stack? Option A. They are moved to the heap. Option B. They are automatically popped off the stack and cleared. Option C. They stay there until the browser closes. Option D. They are marked for sweep. The correct answer is B. The stack is extremely efficient because it follows the LIFO principle. When a function finishes, its execution context is popped off the stack. This instantly frees the memory used by its local variables, if they are primitives, without needing the complex garbage collector. Which of the following describes a memory leak? Option A. The program crashes due to a syntax error. Option B. Allocated memory that is no longer needed but is not returned to the pool of free memory. Option C. A variable that has been set to undefined. Option D. Using too much CPU power. The correct answer is B. A memory leak is a piece of memory that the application no longer requires but that the garbage collector is unable to reclaim because it still appears to be reachable or in use. Over time, leaks accumulate, reducing available memory and slowing down the system. What is the Orinoco project in V8 related to? Option A. A new syntax for JavaScript. Option B. Parallel, incremental, and concurrent garbage collection. Option C. Managing web workers. Option D. Optimizing CSS rendering. The correct answer is B. Orinoco is the codename for the V8 garbage collector's major overhaul. It introduced parallel marking, concurrent sweeping, and incremental GC to move as much work as possible off the main thread, significantly reducing stop the world pauses and UI jank. What is the benefit of using a finalization registry? Option A. It prevents objects from being garbage collected. Option B. It allows you to request a callback when an object is garbage collected. Option C. It speeds up object creation. Option D. It replaces the need for weak maps. The correct answer is B. Finalization registry is an advanced API that lets you register an object and receive a cleanup callback after the object has been reclaimed by the garbage collector. It's useful for managing external resources, like file handles or pointers to C++ objects that aren't managed by the JS engine. What happens if you store data in the local storage? Does it affect the JS heap? Option A. Yes. It is stored in the heap. Option B. No. It is stored in the browser's disk persistent storage. Option C. Yes. It is stored in the stack. Option D. It is stored in the garbage collector. The correct answer is B. Local storage and session storage are web APIs used for persistent storage. Data saved there is stored on the disk or browser memory outside of the JavaScript engine's heap. It does not directly affect the JS memory limit, although reading it into a JS variable will allocate memory in the heap. In a heap snapshot, what does shallow size represent? Option A. The total memory of the object and all its children. Option B. The memory held by the object itself. Option C. The number of references to the object. Option D. The time since the object was created. The correct answer is B. Shallow size is the amount of memory that is held by the object itself. For most objects, this is small. Retained size, on the other hand, is the size of the object plus all other objects that are kept alive by this object. Those that would be deleted if this object were deleted. Which of the following is not a primitive type stored on the stack? Option A, string. Option B, Boolean. Option C, array. Option D, symbol. The correct answer is C. Arrays in JavaScript are technically objects. Therefore, they are reference types and are stored in the heap. String, Boolean, and symbol are all primitives and are stored on the stack. Though long strings in some engines are optimized differently, they are conceptually stack allocated or immutable. How do forgotten timers cause memory leaks? Option A. They use up the CPU's clock cycles. Option B. They maintain references to variables in their scope, preventing GC. Option C. They prevent the sweep phase from starting. Option D. They automatically create global variables. The correct answer is B. If a set interval is set up to run every second, the callback function is kept in memory. If that callback uses any variables from its outer scope, those variables are also kept in memory. If you never call clearInterval, those variables are never freed, even if the rest of your app no longer needs them. Which part of the memory lifecycle is usually the most difficult for the engine to determine? Option A, allocation. Option B, usage. Option C, releasing, freeing. Option D, initialization. The correct answer is C. Determining when memory is no longer needed is the hardest part. Allocation and usage are straightforward actions. However, knowing exactly when a piece of memory will never be accessed again is a decidability problem in computer science, which is why GC algorithms use reachability as a proxy for necessity. What is the best way to handle large datasets in memory? Option A. Store them in global variables. Option B. Process them in chunks and use local scope where possible. Option C. Never use arrays. Option D. Disable the garbage collector. The correct answer is B. To avoid overwhelming the heap and causing GC jank, large datasets should be processed in smaller chunks, e.g., using streams or pagination. Using local scope ensures that as soon as the processing function finishes, the memory can be reclaimed quickly. That wraps up our 30-question deep dive into JavaScript memory management. How many did you get right? If you struggled with the concepts of the heap or mark and sweep, don't worry. These are advanced topics that take time to master. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dive technical content. For the complete set of practice exams and certification prep, check the link in the description below.